Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order has a new glitch, which you might have seen floating around the internet the past few weeks. So you can see here I'm standing on top of the Stinger Mantis, but how did I get up here? Well, here's your answer. The glitch allows you to fly and pretty much go anywhere you like. To do this, I'm pressing the jump button and the force slow button over and over again, one after the other, very quickly, kind of just spamming the controller, you know? It gets pretty tiring on your hand. And I saw some other people saying they use the jump and force pull button to do this, but that wasn't working for me, so I used the force slow button and used this new Jedi power to go exploring around and outside the maps. And while exploring, some pretty strange stuff happened, and I discovered some things about the maps and ended up kind of breaking the game a few times. So, can you get on top of the Bogano temple? Can you get up close to the Binog, the origin tree on Kashyyyk, on top of the crashed Venator on Zeffo? I also enabled a super jump cheat for this one. And what's outside each of these maps? Let's give it a go. Hey everyone, it's Andrew. So starting on Dathomir, as you can see, it looks like the planet stretches out pretty far. There's lots of sprouting rock formations, so I wanted to get up close to one that's outside the map boundaries and see if we can actually stand on it. First, I went to this one that's quite close to the actual map, the one with the giant creepy faces on the side. So unfortunately, even though it looks like this here is a pathway, the entire mountain isn't even solid. It's all just textures, and nothing you see here has been mapped or assigned actual walkable surfaces. Okay, so you can't stand here. So let's try something a little simpler. The top of the Stinger Mantis. You know how it's got that wing that swings around when it lands? Is this solid? It sure is. This is a great place to take photos of Cal. You can get a great backdrop and silhouette of him against the sky. Okay, next, I wanted to see if you can get up on these ruins in the distance, but this is when things started to get really strange. You can see the textures on the temple in the distance don't appear to have loaded correctly. And you can also see there are a few blue glowing lights which look like Cal's meditation points. So I thought first I'd take a look at these, and yep, they are the meditation points when you get up close. So I tried to get close enough to interact with one, but it wouldn't trigger. Even though the full pattern was drawn on the floor and had completely loaded, this entire section of the level hadn't loaded. Jedi Fallen Order loads each section as you move through the level on foot. When you walk through certain doorways, you trigger the next section of the level to load. I'm pretty sure that's how it works anyway. You've probably noticed the levels and maps are huge, so to avoid chugging your processing power and loading the entire level at once, the game only loads the section you're in, or the one you're heading towards. But that doesn't seem to work when you're moving around the map like this. You're not triggering the load points because you're jumping right on past them. So then I fell below the map and also got to capture some cool snaps here, but this broke the game even further. I made my way back up to ground level, tried standing on some of the normal ground from the mission, and fell right through. I checked the map. I'm right near the Stinger Mantis. Maybe I'll just head back there and travel to another planet. But the Mantis was nowhere to be seen, along with half the map. It was like this reality I was in had become unstable, so I went to the exact spot where the Mantis was supposed to be and fell right through the floor. Sierra, Grease, and Merrin had all vanished, so I fell into eternity until I hit the floor, and this was the end of my journey on Dathomir. Cal lived out the rest of his days in the Dathomir underworld. Maybe this is what actually happened to Taron Malicos. Fell through the map. Years later, he's grown a beard, long hair, finds his way back up. He's all dirty, scraggly, and then he gets defeated by a Padawan. Okay, next up, after I reloaded my game, I headed to Bogano. Here, I'm really keen to see if we can get anywhere close to the Binog, that giant dragon-like creature outside the map boundaries. I'd previously tried to get up close to him using the super jump cheat, but there's no ground you can stand on anywhere near him. And I was also hoping that after you revisit Bogano a few times, you know, you fly somewhere else and then fly back, he'd be up actually closer to where you could see him. You know how he moves around every now and then, but no. So we're going the distance. We got to jump all the way across to him. And when you get up close, the Binog is fully rezzed and textured, no matter how close or far you are from him. And you can even hear him breathing the closer you get. pretty cool the binog doesn't change. I think it adds to the mystery of this creature, him being the only thing that's not affected by low rendering. So when I got out to the binog, I noticed that the edge of the world map wasn't too much farther off, so I thought I'd go see if there's anything out there. So letting Cal fall here, you can't actually stand on the land, of course, and if you keep falling, unlike Dathomir, there's no floor you can land on. Cal will just keep falling until he respawns where you last stood back on the map. Okay, so what about the Bogano temple? Can you stand on top of the temple and purvey the land from the top? I got up on this radio tower first, then force jumped my way up to the height of the temple, only to be disappointed. The entire temple spire isn't real. I moved all the way around it, tried different levels, different parts of it. None of it is solid until you fall all the way back down to the ground, which kind of sucks to learn. I was really hoping to be able to gaze out over the land from the top and, use it as kind of my own meditation point. I also broke the map a little bit by doing this. Once back down on the ground, I fell through the floor a couple times. So there you go. That's the truth about Bogano. Next up, we're going to take a look around Kashyyyk, and of all the maps, this one was probably the most interesting but also the biggest lie. And I think exploring this map gives you a good idea of how large-scale map design works. So right to the left of where the Stinger Mantis has landed, there's a destroyed AT-AT I've always wanted to get on the other side of. Feels like it should be somewhere you can go, and using Cal's new jump flying force power, you can. And there's actually ground here, and this ancient tree which has been cut in half by the Empire. You can get up close to this and even see the incredible amount of tree rings on the inside. If each ring represents how old this tree is, then it's really old. So I wanted to keep exploring, and further up ahead, it looked like there was much more ground. Once I jumped over this chasm, I could just keep going and going and going. I checked the map to see where I was, nowhere near the actual level map, but this area feels almost real, like a half-finished part of the level. Perhaps it was. Perhaps the level design was changed and this route wasn't further developed. Perhaps they decided to take the map in a different direction. You can run all the way across this mud lake and then onto this salt lake, up this hill, over this grassy field, until finally the edge. So I thought I'd take a closer look at this tree, which is very low res when you get up close. So then I let Cal fall and respawned back at this tree. The tree that's sawn in half. So the game is recognizing that this could be a spawn location, even though it's outside the actual map. It's really interesting. Okay, so next, I thought I should try get up close to the origin tree you can see way off in the distance. This is actually the tree you climb during the story, where at the top you fight the Ninth Sister. But is this tree we're seeing here actually the same one in the story? So on my way to the tree, I noticed something small off in the distance, down below, something man-made looking. So I aimed my trajectory downwards to try land on these things, and it's actually way below the map, and once I got closer, there you go, 2 platforms. No idea why these are here or what they're for. I checked the map and they're actually below the mission map, but I also tried grabbing onto the edges of the platform and you can't grab on, so there you go, random platforms below the map. Okay, now onto the origin tree. The tree is a long way away, and I definitely did some damage to my hand and wrist spamming the jump and force slow buttons for such a long time. It took me about 5-6 minutes to get here, where you can see the mountains in front of the tree are very low res. Then another few minutes to get to the clouds and mist you see moving in front of the tree. And then finally, I got to the tree itself to notice that it's nothing more than a bunch of 2D images placed in front of one another. So there you go. Not really surprising, I guess, but the tree here isn't actually the tree you climb during the story. And when I let Cal fall, once again, I spawned back at this tree. Something keeps drawing me back to this tree. And from here, I couldn't actually get back into the map. I was stuck behind this AT-AT. Couldn't seem to get around this or find the doorway back into the map, so I quit the game. And after that, I also discovered the rest of Kashyyyk doesn't load properly when you try to skip ahead. I fell through the map and actually got given this respawn menu, which is what what happens when you actually get killed in the game. So Kashyyyk isn't explorable unless you follow its path properly. Okay, on to Ilum. Exploring this planet, I wanted to see how many of the ice formations and glaciers are actually real. So lots of these rocks near the start of the map you can get on top of and walk along, even if the floor isn't quite accurate to what the rock formation looks like. And I did fall through a couple of times and wasn't able to get back up, would just keep hitting my head on the floor. Also, when I was falling below the map, I noticed these really strange images on the horizon in the background. What is this here? Weird. It looks like a ship or man-made structure or something, but couldn't seem to get close to this. I did zoom with my camera lens though, and there you go, that's what it looks like, whatever the heck this is. So next, I wanted to try get on top of these frozen lakes, but it seems you can't. I could stand way up in the sky above the lakes and eventually fell off the edge, but also fell right through the ice. And finally, on Ilum, I wanted to try get on top of this mountain, up above where the lookout and shrine sits. There was one part I could stand on, not all the way at the top, but the higher I went, the more I just fall right through. And after falling for a bit here, there was an invisible floor, but I eventually fell off the edge of this and was respawned back at the shrine. Okay, finally, we're going to take a look around Zeffo. For this map, I used the super jump cheat and mainly wanted to see if I could stand on top of the crashed Vanilla Star Destroyer. There are a few random invisible platforms up high I could walk on some of these mountains, but otherwise I'd fall right through. And as you probably would have guessed, the higher you jump into the Vanilla, the more textures you jump right through. And that's about it. So there you go. Some surprises, I think, as to what's real and what's not. I was very impressed with that whole bonus section on Kashyyyk. Be interesting to see why this is actually there, and just getting to explore all the hidden and out of map sections of these planets was really interesting. Learning how Fallen Order's map design works and the binog, also really cool. So what are you most surprised about here, and which Fallen Order map is your favorite? Let me know in the comments. And if you'd like to learn more about some of Jedi Fallen Order's Easter eggs, like the references to the Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels, go watch this video here with 10 Easter eggs you might have missed. And follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and join my Discord for lots more Star Wars gaming, news, discussion, everything. And thanks for watching this. My name's Andrew. I'll catch you soon.
Stay bombastic.